Now, to introduce Jerry, or I'm going to start calling him Grandpa Jerry because I really like that. That's actually pretty neat. To introduce him, it's going to sound like I'm bragging because we've been in this business for just a few years, and I've met Jerry a few times and always felt like I was speaking to a demigod, except that he always made me very comfortable. And I realized that it was just Grandpa Jerry, which was kind of neat. And yesterday is the first time I ever did a opportunity presentation to bring on promoters. And in fact, actually in the 4 years we've been here, I've never brought on a promoter ever. We have a number of customers who have decided to become promoters, which is, we're very thankful for that. But in doing a opportunity presentation, I tell people you have to look at the product and make sure that the product is right. You have to look at the company. When you look at the company, you have to look at the management. And then I always brag on Jerry, because Jerry has, unlike other companies that my wife Debbie has been involved in, Jerry takes great care in not just this company, but in the products of this company to ensure that the integrity of the products is not diminished, that you get exactly what you're paying for, and that it is the best that can be. So I'm always in awe, but I like calling him Grandpa Jerry. And Jerry, next time I see you, I'll probably call you that, and you can call that right back to me, because we have great grandchildren too. So Grandpa Jerry, thank you. Everyone, welcome, please. Grandpa Jerry.
Wow. Well, I hope this Grandpa Jerry thing doesn't stick, you know. Oh. Listen, I mean, it's okay, I guess. I'm only, you know, I'll be 82 in April, so I guess I'm old enough. And I do have grandchildren, 4 of them. So I guess I'm qualified. Anyway, I'm happy to be called Grandpa Jerry or anything else you want to call me. Thank you, Bob, for inviting me to participate in your Zoom call, and some of you, of course, I see are meeting in person. Before you woke up this morning, Bob, we were on the screen together here, and I told everyone I'm in Hawaii. I'm here with my wife Susan, and Kendra was here for Christmas. She left just a couple of days before the new year. We come here every year, basically, for the Christmas holidays, New Year's, and then I go home. I delayed my trip home because of the bad weather in California, very cold, and snow at the winery, the ranch, and snow where I live. So I just delayed a few days, and I'll be going home on the 11th, next Tuesday. So anyway, that brings you up to date a little bit, and enjoyed the stories, the testimonies. David, that is quite a testimony that you have, and I just want to remind you that and everyone that you know, our our products don't cure people, but our bodies do if we give them the right things to work with. If we give them the proteins, the carbohydrates that are healthy, if we give them even some fat, and we give them some, we need all of these things, vitamins, minerals, elements, trace elements, and it goes on and on and on. The things that the body needs that we normally can get out, we can get out of our food if we eat the right food, and if we make the right choices. However, it would be very, very difficult to get all of the nutrients you need from food in today's world. And so I think we all understand that and know that. But when we give our bodies the right choices, the right food, the body is miraculous. It just does some things that are they seem to be miracles. They're not. It's the same miracle that if I have a Chevrolet pickup truck up at the winery that I like. It's an older one, a 2005, and it runs beautifully. Except one of the people, I won't name names, but they put gasoline in the diesel truck. Okay, well, it started sounding terrible, and it wouldn't go, and then you can imagine what would happen. Okay, I've seen it happen both ways, and in my life, and it's just like you can't put sugar in your gas tank, you can't put sand, in your oil, but unfortunately that's the way we treat our bodies, and I certainly I spent the first, let's say 15 years of my life. My mother was a fabulous cook. From both my mother and father were born in Oklahoma. They came to California during the Dust Bowl because they were farmers in Oklahoma, and during the Dust Bowl they lost their farming operation there. It was very small, but still it was a living. They came to California. John Steinbeck, if you've ever read the book Grapes of Wrath, wrote about the people that migrated from California. And when I was a young boy going to school, because of that heritage, I was called an Okie. That was we'll call it today, would be a racial slur, right? I didn't, it just, other than caused me to get in a few little scuffles and fights, I mean, it was no problem. But anyway, that's my background. Now, my mother being a great cook, she would cook things that tasted wonderful. She used a lot of lard, okay, that she would render from the actual pigs that my father would raise on the small little piece of land we had in Porterville, California. And she would cook, she would fry everything. Fried chicken, fried chicken, fried steak, fried this and fried that. I mean, so butter, fried, mashed potatoes and butter and gravy every day. And so this diet that tasted so good, along with homemade ice cream and berry cobblers and you name it, okay? And me being allergic to cow's milk, and my father believed I should drink a quart of it every day because I would be strong. Well, this got me, my asthma got terrible, and I was putting, gasoline, in a diesel engine. And so just as I was about to die, my mother found nutrition. She researched around. The doctors could not help me. It's much like David's story. And taking all these medications just made me worse. And as a result, I started putting the right ingredients in my body. And my body then started correcting itself. Well, that's the story of the NeoLife products. And when I came along, I was given a chance to sell these products and be a distributor, not the NeoLife products, but another company, NutraBio. And when I was 19 years old, I've simply stayed in that area. We'll call it a space. Direct selling. Thank God for direct selling. I was able to get in and on $50 that I borrowed from my brother Bob. Can you imagine that? Bob had enough money to pay $50 for himself and loan me $50. He's 3 years younger. And he gathered that up very slowly. That would be $100 that he had, and he was working and making 70 cents an hour. So that shows you that no matter where we start, now if it was $500 or if it was some other number, I couldn't have participated. But the entry level was low. And I had the background because my asthma started to improve. I no longer was about to die every year. I became healthier looking and more energy. And all of a sudden, I was a healthy young man instead of a very, very sick young man. So this continued on at 19. I was given a chance, as I said, to sell products. And I thought I could sell these products because I know they work. Okay. And I think that's something to take note of, because you, the ones I've heard from this morning, you have personal stories. And I had a personal story. So I simply told my story. And Allison, don't ever learn the script. Okay. Just keep doing what you're doing. Scripts don't work, but when you talk from your heart, you will get results, and that's what's happening to you. Just keep doing it. But anyway, I thought I could sell these products. I was passionate about them. I believed in them. My sincerity came through, and I started. And even though it was discouraging at first, because most everybody I talked to said, "Are you kidding me? You better, you can't do this, you can't do that." And so whether it was trying to build my business or telling them about how these products work, the majority of people did not buy. But enough people bought from me that the results have been amazing over these many, many years. Now, from 19 years old until now, all, in what is this? This is January, February, March, 3 months. 3 months, I'll be 82. And I feel good. This morning, you didn't get me up very much earlier than normal, Bob. It's 2 hours earlier here. But normally at this time of the morning at 7 a.m., I'm out going for a little walk and run, mostly walk. And I try to get my 10,000 steps a day in. And I try to go out whether I feel like it or not. Okay. So that's here. Before I finish today, I'll take the camera. It's starting. The sun is out now. And I'll show you outside where I'm presently staying. So, but anyway, so let's think about what goes on here. I had the well, let me start over. No matter what we try to do in life, we will have naysayers. We'll have people tell us that we can't do that. I had this in my home. My father loved me. He loved all the family, my 2 brothers and my sister, my mother. But he did not believe that how could this sick little boy who he's known, that no special talents, how can he talk about being successful? And okay, the products have helped him, but you can't go out and do things like that. Get these big ideas out of your mind. And he was very discouraging because I would tell my family what I could see happening. I would show my thoughts, my I guess today you might call it my vision of the future. That's just I would have this idea in my mind, to me, it seemed very powerful because I could see that the very thing that you heard Allison talk about here this morning, and others, you could see that I thought, I don't know a lot of people, but I could get someone in my team, and they could know someone that I don't know in the next town. And the next little city from Porterville would be Tulare or Visalia. And I couldn't even think about bigger cities. I could just think about, wow, that is powerful. I find somebody and I don't even know who they know. And then all of a sudden, somebody in my team will be in another city, and they could know somebody in another city. And that powerful word of mouth marketing, which now we call a compensation plan, and our compensation plan, simply stated, incentivizes or rewards us as distributors. It rewards us for doing word of mouth advertising, going around telling people about something we think is good for them. Now, we do this automatically by recommending a movie. You got to go see this movie. We do it by recommending a book. You got to read this book. I'm reading a book now that was recommended to me, and I'm enjoying the book. He gave me the book and he said, read this book, you'll like it. The book, I didn't start reading it. It's 550 pages. So I thought, I don't have enough time. So he called me, have you started reading that book? No, read it. Okay. Still didn't start. I'm busy. Finally, a year goes by and I'm here in Hawaii. On the airplane coming here, I started to read a few pages. Took a while for me to get going on this book. That's the way people are on our customers and our promoters, and so we then we'll say, try this, do this, please, that'll help you. And they don't always start right away. In fact, some never start. But the important thing is just keep talking and sharing your thoughts and sharing your words, and enough people will join in your team through this word of mouth advertising, that you will start to build a flow of products, a business. You'll be compensated for it, and then you start developing. On the other side, we start developing our skill set, we'll call it, that we, and maybe it's not even to be called that. I'm not sure we get more skillful, but we learn to not be discouraged if somebody says no. We learn that we toughen up a little bit. We learn that as long as we keep doing what our simple thing of learning about the products, learning about the compensation plan, and learning how we can improve our lives through setting goals and believing in ourselves, in believing. I know, thank you for starting off the session this morning with a prayer and giving God the thanks and the glory for who we are and what we are. These things, as we keep doing these things, we just learn a little more about it, just like your job that you have or have had, more about it after you've done it for a while. And if you're preparing food for the family, well, you probably know more about it today than you knew about it when before you were married and before you had to prepare the food. So it's just life. We learn as we go along and as we do. You won't learn how to cook by watching somebody else do it. unless you're right up in their face and whatnot. You won't learn how to swim by watching somebody else swim. And you won't learn how to fish by watching somebody else fish. You learn by doing. And that's just a simple act of sharing our story. So get a story like I have a story. David, you certainly have a story. You all have stories. And as you learn to share those stories and not drive people away with it, you can talk too much, right? I had to learn to slow down a little bit and take a breath. I talked too much. I had to limit my story to the point that didn't run people away. So you learn to adjust how you do it, but that's just a learning process. And you learn it automatically as you practice it and do it. So now, back, I tell you what, my mother, and her preparing all this wonderful food. One time, my father, he got sick, and the doctors could not help him, and he was about 60 years old at the time, 65, and he ran the cattle ranch, worked hard, but he got to the point that he was just sick, and the local doctors couldn't help him, and so he called and wanted to know if I could get him into a specialist. Long story short, I got him into Stanford up in the Bay Area. We took him up there, and they checked him in the hospital. And then he was in there. I went to see him, and I said, "How you doing?" He said, "I'm doing a little better," but he said, "They're about to starve me to death in here." So I said, "Well, what are they doing?" So he told me they were giving him a little of this and mainly fruit juice. And so then came the next day. He said, I feel a lot better, but they won't give me food. I need some food." And after 3 days in the hospital, I met with his doctor. His doctor's, what was the problem? He's okay now. Doctor said, "Well, we just gave him fruit juice because his diet had plugged up his system to the point this diet that he says he eats will kill anybody. My mother's cooking was killing him." And so, you can, now, and unfortunately, most of us eat because we like the taste of something. And as we listen, we gotta find healthy food and make it taste as good as we can, but don't eat because it tastes good. I fight that every day, and I'm thinking about, if I don't have some ice cream, I'm thinking about it. And I just try to eat enough other good things that I can afford to have a little bit of ice cream. But if I ate what I like to eat, I would just have large bowls of ice cream, and I would eat what my mother cooked all those years that got me in trouble in the first place. So her cooking and my asthma just got worse and worse, and then forcing me to drink cow's milk and we even had the cows. So we changed our cows to goats, and I started drinking goat milk when I was 14 years old, and I still drink goat milk today, by the way, just because I'm not allergic to it. Now, anyway, I'm rambling on here a little bit, but I'm excited to be here with you. I'm excited to share with you, and going back just for a moment is, over the years I've learned that if I want to put somebody in my team, and I'll sell products as a customer to anybody, but if I want to work with somebody and build, the number one characteristic that I want that person to have is integrity, to be an honest person, to do what's right. The Bible calls doing what's right righteous. Yet righteousness has become a bad word, and many people that say, "Oh, that you're so righteous." Well, righteous is doing what's right. So a person, I want to have integrity, and I want to be around people with integrity. The second thing is, I want people that are energetic, that want to work, that will put in some effort. and of course, once you overcome your fears and things like that, you can exercise that characteristic more. So, and then I want somebody to be reasonably intelligent. Okay, you don't have to be educated. I don't have a a university or college education. I went to college, junior college in Porterville, California, for 1/2 of one semester. That's it. Okay, high school and 1/2 of one semester in a junior college, but I have a good mind, and I've continued my education past that elementary type education. I've still get educated today. So education is a lifetime process, and so you want someone to be to have a sound mind, to be able to learn, to have that's the third characteristic. So now, by the way, if somebody doesn't have integrity, you don't want them to have energy and work hard, and you don't want them to be smart, because with no integrity, they'll do a lot of damage. Okay, so you want all three together, but number one is integrity. If I find, I don't care how many how intelligent a person is, how educated, how capable they are, if they don't have integrity, I don't want anything to do with them, period, anymore. I just I'm finished before I start. And so by doing that, and starting off in Porterville, California, word of mouth advertising by talking, NeoLife is spread all over the world, and it affects people's lives all over Africa, Europe, Asia, USA, Canada, Mexico, and all places in between. And this grew out of people starting and spreading out. Now, if you go out on the street and you say, we've been going 60 years or so, you go out and you ask people, do you know about NeoLife? Very few will say yes, because people change. Millions of people are born. There's millions of people that are just becoming of age, 21, 25, 30. Every year, millions of people. And we are losing the battle as far as saturation. We're a good sized company today. And that company basically is an extension of my organization. And about 10% of the company today was the NeoLife brand and the distributors that I bought from Don Pickett and added to my own organization. And then, of course, the NeoLife is such a fabulous name that we branded our company NeoLife, which means new life. And of course, just in the few examples that you've heard about this morning, including mine, this NeoLife brand has caused a new life to exist. So I would say that I know that last time you had a meeting that my daughter Kendra spoke, and I've heard of the exciting meeting in the future. You're going to have Alan Blaine. My goodness, these are fabulous examples. My daughter runs the company today, and don't think that she checks with me on everything that she does. No, she's smart, she is capable, and she's added to the company the tools that we can use to make our business fit in today's environment. And by that, I'm talking about this e-commerce, this doing business online, doing business from an office if you have one, but doing business from home, or in many cases, doing business anywhere, from anywhere. And it happens all the time. And if we didn't have, if we had not had Kendra pushing the company in that direction and allocating a lot of the company's resources, meaning capital and profits, to that endeavor, we would not have the tools we have today. And that being an 82-year-old man and growing up in a world where it was not a world that embraces all of this technology. So me getting on Zoom and talking to you, it's almost feels like a new world to me. Yet it's very common for the younger generations to take part in it. And you know what? People are still building and growing, doing it like I did it over the many years, and that's just talking word of mouth, person to person. Of course, this virus, this COVID and all the various variants of it has turned our world upside down. I haven't traveled around the world in over 2 years and spend a lot of time at home. We're all wearing our masks, but we should be, especially if you're going to go out to any place where people are gathered in groups. And you don't get to hear. You have to show your vaccination card and show your proof of that and wear a mask, or you can't get into a restaurant, can't get on the airplane to come here or go home unless you have these things. So the world is changing and we're adapting to it. But through all that, our business has grown because, wow, think about it. We didn't stop. Think about the meeting we're having today, where a few people are in small groups where they trust each other, but the majority are online, and we're able to communicate. I can be here in Hawaii and share my thoughts with all of you. So I would just say this, the simple things, and you're going to hear about this as you get introduced to NeoLife, and as you start to learn, you'll find there is so much product information that you can pick up just in short videos that's on our website, on our websites, I would say. And then there's testimonies like you've heard today, and there's catalogs of them online. You can listen to them. You'll find something that fits you. And then, of course, there's, we have this technology that allows me to be in Hawaii and to share thoughts with you today. And then the last time you got together, I believe Kendra was able to do that from Los Gatos, California. And I'm sure that Alan Blaine will be speaking to you from Tennessee, back in that area. So all over, we're through technology, we can share our business, we can share our products, we can share our personal growth, we can share ideas on how we can individually become a better person, a better diet, better exercise habits, better thought patterns, set our goals, learn about the products to the point that we know why they work. Why do they work? Well, it's as simple as that story I started out with. If I put sand in my engine of my truck or my car, if I put diesel in the gasoline car or gasoline in the diesel car, if I don't put the water in that it needs to have the engine cooled, there's so many things. If I leave out the oil, and run it without oil. Now, but imagine, your car is going to destruct. It will just fall apart. Well, guess what? The majority of us have done that to our bodies in the past, and some of us still cheat once in a while and put the wrong thing in. But I'll tell you what, the knowledge is there for us to make the better choice. And that's the key. Make the better choices, because whatever choice we make today will determine the logical consequences of that choice. It just happens that way. We don't want our children to get with the wrong people and make bad choices. Why? Because we know the consequences of those bad choices. We don't want our kids to take drugs. We want them to stay away from drugs. We don't want them to drink a lot of alcohol, because we know the consequences. We don't want them to eat more food than they can burn up in the calories. We don't want them to eat junk food and whatnot, and just eat things that taste good, because we know the consequences. And as we get into NeoLife and we become NeoLife and we become that testimony, then we gain more and more and more knowledge, so that we can then help other people. And then by helping people, guess what? We get rewarded. Better health, better frame of mind, more profits into our family to live a better lifestyle. These are all the logical consequences of the choices that we make. I mentioned when I started that my father discouraged me. He almost just would wipe out any joy, any enthusiasm I had about bettering myself. And then I know many of you have heard me say that my mother was exactly the opposite. She's the one that went beyond the doctors and found some nutrition for me to take in the form of cod liver oil. She didn't even know it was omega-3 fatty acid. She just was recommended her get some cod liver oil, and another mother recommended, not a doctor, another mother who had a child that was helped by taking cod liver oil and a liquid vitamin, multivitamin. Those two things were the first two supplements I took, and I stopped doing I stopped drinking the cow's milk that I was allergic to, and I started to eat a little healthier. So these were recommendations. Now my mother was she was the one that did. My father would have never done that. My mother was the one that stopped him from forcing me to drink cow's milk. Okay. Now I would have. My father wouldn't have done that on his own. It's my mother. When my father would say, "Get those big ideas out of your head, you cannot do it," it was my mother that said, she would take me to the side in another room and say, "Yes, you can. You don't listen to him." She would never do it in front of him, because I've never heard my parents even have an argument, if you can believe it. Not even an argument, ever. None of my brothers or my sister ever heard them have an argument, a verbal fight. They were both believers. They were Christian people, and they just loved each other and supported each other. But my mother would get me alone and say, "Don't listen to him. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't understand. You can do whatever you want to do." And that's my message to you today. Don't listen to people that tell you you cannot do something. Don't listen to them. Just know that you can do whatever it is you want to do if you'll just make up your mind, refuse to be deterred, refuse to let others take away your dream. Don't let them do it. Don't let them take your dream. Don't let them take your future. You want to know how you'll look in the future? You're going to be the person in the future that you think in your mind today. You're going to be a reflection of the people you choose to spend your time with. If you want to know how you're going to be in the future, look at the people you're associating with, and look at the thoughts you're putting into your mind by what you read and what you watch on television and what you watch, and your own thoughts are big factors in who you're going to be in the future. So just make sure that you know that over time, no matter where you start, financially, no matter where you start, health-wise, no matter where you start, okay? And of course, self-improvement wise, no matter where you start learning, the choices you make every day will have logical consequences, and that will cause you to become the person that you want to be in the future, or if you don't take control, you become the person you do not want to be in the future. It works both ways. You won't be the same. You'll either be healthier or you'll be in poor health. You will either be better off financially or you're going to be worse off financially. You're not going to stay the same. And so let's take control. Let's make sure that that we're guiding our own boat. We're saying, okay, we're responsible. We take responsibility, and I'm, now I have a couple of people that I go walking with here in Waikiki. And I told them this morning, I can't walk. I can't walk at 7 o'clock. I'm going to walk at 9 o'clock with them. And so when I leave here, I leave this meeting, I'm going to be out and doing my exercise, try to eat as healthy as I can today, and that will give me a better tomorrow. So by the way, my mind is energized today. My attitude is better than it was before I started talking to you. And one of the things that I have to do here is when I'm talking to you, I'm hearing it myself, and it's reminding me to stay on track. So our own thoughts, our own words, our own actions, everything we do works together for our future. And by the way, the Bible says that all things work together for good to them that love God and are called according to his purpose. And in other places, it also says that his purpose is for us to help other people. Well, if we can help people financially and we can help them in the areas of maybe having more faith, if we can help them with their health, then we're doing God's work, and that means things are working in the background that we don't even understand that's going on. And so, and the Bible also says that because we don't ask, we don't receive. Okay, in so many words. So ask in your prayer. Just ask God to bless you, and ask God to guide you, and ask God through living in you that he would solve the problems in your life. Health problems and financial problems, and by the way, relationship problems. How many of us have benefited through repaired relationships where we've just asked God to help us, and he works it out. And so I believe, the Bible says, so positive, the Bible is the most wonderful book ever written. You receive not because you ask not. All things are possible, only believe. These things are just there for us to take hold of, to believe that the God who created everything it has a personal interest in us, and our job is to find out, you know, inside us are certain gifts. Okay, maybe it's the gifts of caring about people, the gift of just helping. Maybe it's the gift of teaching. Maybe it's the gift of whatever. Okay, that gift is. Maybe it's a gift of speaking. But we have these gifts, and if we can just give birth to those gifts, let them come out of us through encouragement, through associating with the right people, through just taking advantage of all these things that we were made to be and we were made to experience, and that is using whatever gifts we have for the betterment of us in serving our God and in serving other people. And so I want to thank you for allowing me to be here, speak to you, and I will close by just saying, God bless all of you. Okay, well, you want to have a look at where I am today?
Yes, please.
Yes, yes.
Well, I'm in the living room and kitchen of my, I have a penthouse here in Waikiki. I've had for many years. And let's see, behind me now, the drapes are opening. Okay. And and this, now we had a terrible rainstorm here before we got here, and we had some water that got inside. So that's been, they've been dealing with the issue on that, but let's see here. Let's see what I can do here. I will turn my camera. How do I turn my camera around? Anyway, I'll do it this way. Anyway, here is, can you see this?
Ooh.
You need to tip it down just a tiny bit. There you go.
Okay. Anyway,
Look at that. Oh, that's beautiful. Look at that.
I'm here. I'll take you outside. This is the kitchen. Okay. I've got some fresh bananas and papayas there that I'll eat. Okay, later. I'm going out on a terrace, and this is a big terrace.
Whoa.
Okay. This is a building here. It's a condominium building, and my is the entire top of this building. Okay.
We got to have dinner, about 60 of us on this deck there. And we saw the sun go down over Waikiki.
Diamond Head from there?
Yeah. There we go. Look at that. That's the front window.
Okay, team, that's where we want to go.
How do you want to go? Thank you, Jerry. That was
All right.
beautiful. That was awesome.
Okay, well, anyway, that's I'll be walking on the beach here shortly.
Okay.
So anyway, thank you so much. And if you don't mind, I'll just kind of watch for a little while this morning.
Okay.
And at this time, I'll just turn it back over to you, Bob. And thank you so much for including me.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you. Thank you.
Jerry, just thanks so much for your sharing. And I've told many people what I appreciate about you most. You came from such humble beginnings, have had unbelievable success but you remain kind. I don't see arrogance. You're kind, you're generous, you're down to earth, you're willing to help people. And so I'm very impressed by your business success and all that, but your kindness to us really, don't you guys agree?
Yes.
It touches us. So Jerry, thank you for the character you have, that your immense success hasn't made you arrogant. That's very good. You've remained kind and generous. So we appreciate that very much.
Oh, thank you, Bob.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much. We've enjoyed it tremendously. And we'll go on to our next speaker now, you guys, who Jerry hired to help all of us.